takes place between midnight and 1 a.m. Events occur in real time.
guys, go over a basic overview of what you ran into this evening.
Okay, Roseville fire units arrived to find Sacramento Metro units on scene of a two-vehicle crash, head-on type on Roseville Road, about a half a mile south of Kirby Way, just inside the city limits. In a small sedan were four appear to be juveniles, and then there were a couple of other occupants in another vehicle. There was an extensive extrication in the small sedan. There's been one fatality involving a juvenile of unknown age. 3 others were critically injured, again requiring a lengthy extrication because the vehicle was literally wrapped around them. One of them went by helicopter to the University Medical Center and 2 by ground ambulance to Sutter Roseville Medical Center. All 3 are very critical.
Is this especially tough on a holiday for you guys?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's no doubt that these young men may have just been leaving, a Thanksgiving event or something.
And was there any injuries in the other vehicle?
No, the other occupants were seatbelted, airbags deployed, and no injuries at all.
Did you have any witness accounts of, was it a head-on or any?
There's multiple law enforcement agencies here investigating, and we don't have any details on that.
Okay, thank you, sir.
What's your name, please?
Mark Beck, B-E-C-K, and Battalion Chief with the Roseville Rd.
Thank you very much, sir.
Mark, I missed the first part of it. Can you just give me a question about this?
Yes, fire units from Roseville and Sacramento Metro arrived to find a major injury auto accident on Roseville Road, about a half a mile south of Kirby. In one vehicle, a blue Chevy coupe, were 4 young men, which required extensive extrication. There was 1 fatality, 3 others were transported to the hospital, 1 in a helicopter, and 2 by ground. And then in the other vehicle were some other occupants, so that they were seatbelted, airbags deployed, and they were uninjured.
Off the record, can you speculate on this?
No, I haven't heard any details as to somebody came across the line. I don't know.
That's the case.
It looks like it, but again, law enforcement's investigating. So. Yeah, we don't see any, no open containers in the car,
Right, I don't
nothing
see
like
any of
that,
that
nothing
either. I
obvious
didn't see
about
anything.
that. So,
Because they usually pop out on the streets.
right, yeah.
Thank you.
Not anymore. No, I'm back running the Battalion out here. Oh, okay. I got the site floor. Oh, really? I do. Yeah. So, everybody. Oh, yeah. That's sure. Nobody has to. We're upgrading everybody to be a team. Yeah, he's the one that catches me. City fire. Contact Dennis Lee. Maybe respond out here and pick up his son. Condition was being good. They went home early.
That's 3463 Hepburn Circle. That'd be like Hepburn.
haven't seen him around here before.
I don't know. No, I don't know.
Did you see anybody? Did you see a gunman or a car drive by or anything like
No,
that?
I just heard a bunch of gunfire. Like I said, I just heard a bunch of popping, pop, 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 pop. I didn't think it was real. I didn't think it was real. When I walked out and I seen these kids out there fighting for their life.
You know, there used to be a lot of problems like that out here, but it's been quiet for quite a while out here now. It seems like the area is kind of cleaning itself up. There's new building going on out here. It seems like it's getting better. Is this kind of a setback, do you think?
Yes, it's true. It's definitely a setback. Anytime you have something like that, you know, and like you say, this neighborhood's trying to make a better reputation for itself. Yeah, it's kind of a setback. It's sad, you know, but you know, you just can't let this one thing, you know, make people form an opinion about a neighborhood. It's just unfortunate something that happened. You just got to keep moving on. It's sad. It's sad. It's a sad day.
What were you doing out here when you came upon the
I was
scene?
inside shopping. I was inside the store, and I just heard a bunch of gunfire. And so I just thought that somebody was shooting in the air or something. And when I walked outside, I seen these two kids struggling on the ground for their lives. I knew it was real then.
Do you have an approximate age on those?
Oh no, I don't. They're young, teenagers.
Yeah, probably like 18, 21.
My estimation, 15 to 18. That's just an estimate.
Youngsters, then.
Huh?
Can we get your name?
My name's Dennis.
Dennis?
What's your last name?
Robinson. How old are you, sir? 42.
You raised around here, Dennis?
I wasn't raised around here, but I've been living out here for a while.
Dennis, you think it's related to this situation with gangs or?
Oh, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you.
It's really bad for the neighbor also, yeah.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. It really is. You know, when you see two youngsters laying out like that, it's really sad. It's sad.
Maybe you think like we fight between African American and Hispanic or?
There's no anything. Anything's possible. Anything's possible. Like I say, I don't want to say something and not be true. I don't know. We can all speculate, but I don't know.
Were you able to render any assistance to the juveniles?
Well, the only thing I was able to do was dial 911 because I didn't want to touch nobody, you know, mess up a crime scene, whatever. So I just called 911 and that's basically it.
Could you restate your name and spell your last name for me?
Dennis Robinson, Robinson.
Thank you very much, sir.
Dennis, it's probably like a 4-year guy.
What, they were killed or shot? It was two that were laying on the ground. Two that were shot, for sure.
And how many kids around the front of the business?
Oh, I don't know. When I walked out, I just seen those two laid out. Yeah.
Could you tell where they were hit?
Oh, they were hit all up in the chest because when they were cutting, when they cut their clothes away, you could see bullet holes all in their chest, upper chest. Yeah, both of them. They were tore up pretty bad.
Multiple?
Multiple times. Oh, multiple.
In the chest, both of them.
Yeah.
How many shots do you think you heard rang out?
I would say a whole clip.
It's like 12.
About 12, 11, 12, 13, whatever.
Rapid fire?
Rapid fire, just blah, 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 blah.
So like automatic?
Yeah.
It's sunny, actually. Actually, it's a little bit too sunny.
You got a good shot, Rob? Great shot. All right, you all set? Okay. I'm ready to interview Lieutenant Dan Hahn.
Who you want me to look at? Dan? Doesn't matter?
The question, yeah.
Okay.
What you got here?
Well, we received about 2:30, 2:45. We received a call of about 4 or 5 shots, and we got here pretty quickly. And when we got here, there was 2 victims, male blacks, laying on the ground on the corner there in front of the pizza place, and there was about 20 or 30 people standing around. We're having a difficult time finding witnesses that saw anything, so we're really encouraging people that if they saw anything, to give us a call. Right now, the condition of the 2 victims is very critical. They were in pretty bad shape when the fire department took them out of here, but as far as their status at the hospital, we haven't been updated yet.
Do you have any idea what happened or what transpired before the shooting?
No, that's one of the reasons why we're looking for some witnesses. Apparently there was 2 victims on the corner, possibly one suspect, but we're not real sure on that yet because we're still looking for some witnesses that actually saw something. But again, there was about 20 or 30 people standing on that corner when the first officer got here, and again, we're having a very difficult time finding somebody that saw anything.
There's a couple of folks in the back seats of some patrol cars. One was over here, another one over here. What's their relationship to what happened here?
There's really no definite relationship between the shooting and those people that the officers are talking to, but by no means are those suspects at this point.
Just being questioned there.
Right.
Do you have any description of the suspect at all? Have you gotten any information at all?
No, we're still working on that. We have some various descriptions, but to put any of those out at this point because they vary wouldn't be prudent at this time.
Is there any gang relationship to this shooting at this time, or is that still under investigation?
That's still under investigation. Again, like I said, there's about 20 or 30 people standing on the corner, and we didn't get much statements from any of them, pretty much. So we're still looking into those type of things.
I'm not asking you to release their names, but do you or the PD, are you aware of the two suspects or the victims that were shot today at all?
We have tentative names on them, but again, because of their condition and things, we aren't going to release those, and also until we know for sure that's who they were.
I understand that one of them has recently been released either from prison or jail or something like that. Do you know anything about that at all?
That I don't know. No.
Do you have any medical transportation information as far as where the victims were transported?
I don't know the exact hospital. Obviously, there are local hospitals around here. Both of them were in very bad condition when they left. Multiple gunshot wounds to their upper body.
What's the tough thing about investigating something like this, Dan?
Well, as usual, whenever we get to a scene, we're usually there after something happens. So like when the first officers got here, the two victims were already on the ground. So we really rely on people that to help us put those pieces together. And when we have a lot of people that most likely saw something, I mean, this is a pretty heavily traveled pedestrian and vehicle area, so chances are pretty good that somebody saw something, even if it wasn't the actual shooting, but maybe something right before it or right after. That'll help our investigators piece the puzzle together and hopefully come up with the suspect who shot two people today.
They're not talking yet, though, the people that were here?
Well, we have a couple statements, but by far not as many as probably saw something.
Have community policing and the advertisement of phone numbers on, like Crime Alert, have they assisted PD in investigations like this?
Definitely. We have many success stories that come out of Crime Alert. One of the big advantages of Crime Alert is people can call in and be anonymous and just drop tips that our investigators can follow up. And oftentimes, as we've reported over the years, we have many success stories from Crime Alert. So that's definitely a way that somebody could call in if they didn't feel comfortable doing it out here.
And how about community policing programs where the officers work certain beats, like pop type stuff? Has that been effective at all? Is PD even involved in that type of?
Oh, we're definitely involved in that, and that helps bring in a lot of confidence from the community and their police department. And so, not necessarily with tips and things like that, but just getting people to feel comfortable with the police department, relying on the police department, trusting us, and us getting information from the community on what's going on in their neighborhoods. That helps us a great deal. So it all goes into solving crimes, and this is what would help solve this one: is people calling in, or calling in today, or calling into the Crime Alert line and dropping some tips that we can follow up on and hopefully get the arrest the suspect that's responsible for this.
Thank you
You've
very
been
much.
with PD long enough to know this used to be an area where this wasn't unusual, but for the past couple of years or so, it seems like this area has gotten a little bit better. Does it concern you? Obviously it would concern you, but is there a fear that perhaps now things might be turning back around, or what's your thought on that?
Well, this whole area, as you well know, as you can just see by looking around, is being revitalized, and a lot of that's coming from the community itself. And people are real helpful out here. Really want to see their neighborhood come back so they feel safe. And this definitely worries us. It would worry us no matter where it happened. I mean, we have two people that are seriously injured laying down on the street. It definitely worries us. But just like any other crime, we need people to help us out, let us know what happened, so we can get somebody that's responsible for two people laying on the ground very seriously injured. And yeah, this area is being revitalized. As you can see, there's a lot of new buildings, and there's still buildings to come. The medians and things like that are all part of helping bring the neighborhood back to where the community wants to see it.
It has been getting better for the most part, hasn't it?
Oh, definitely.
guys leave their vehicle back up there?
Yes.
I hope it wasn't a good glove.
Hell yeah, it was.
It was a damn good one.
Called the sheriff department to have them come up and file a missing persons report. And then they took the report and we sat around the house and I just couldn't stay there no more. I had to get out and go look. And they said we got the report from them that they were going four-wheeling, so we decided to go up to Robinson's flat to look. And then the trees were down, so we turned around and went back and got chainsaws and went back up. And we cut trees until we found them and cleared the road.
You found their truck, but where did he go from there?
We just kept following the road because we figured we'd catch up to him because we saw the footprints. And then we didn't catch up to him, so we came directly over here.
And then could you tell me about the sheriff's involvement and how you guys got together and went back up there?
Let me see how that happened. I called my wife, and she said that she had talked to the sheriff, and then we called the sheriff, and then he called us back, and then he said to stay here until he got here. He was going to bring some guys up, and then after that, we stayed here, and then we got together, and we all took off. And then we found them a couple hours ago.
Well, you basically started out at 7 this evening then.
9 o'clock this morning.
You started at 9 o'clock this morning to go out and hunt them down. And then you didn't get together with the sheriffs till 7 o'clock this evening?
Till 12:30 this night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 12:30 this morning.
They just started getting things together. They found out about the situation at 7 o'clock this evening.
No, they knew about the situation, but they found out about the truck. 9 o'clock tonight that we found the truck.
Oh, okay.
And then everything started coming together. They came up here, and then we went back out at 12:30 tonight.
So how long have your people been missing?
Since Thursday
Morning, 8 o'clock.
about 9 o'clock Thursday morning.
Really?
Yeah.
So they spent 2 nights out there?
Yeah. Yeah, 2 nights and 3 days.
Could you state your name and spell your last name?
Yeah, my name is Mike, Last name is Gangwer. It's spelled Gangwer.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Start out from when your trip started out. You're going on. Tell me about the 4-wheel drive trip and that kind of thing.
We decided we were going to go 4-wheeling on Thursday. We started going up and we went to Robinson Flat, and then we took off a side road, Soda Springs, and we went down Soda Springs, and then it started getting a little snowy, but we could see the snow breaking up down ahead, and so we decided we would just go right through it. And then we started going through it, and we got stuck, and so we had to dig for a couple hours in the snow, dig 2 tracks for the truck to get through. Then we dug those through, and then we thought it was just going to be easier from there on out. And then we ended up finding a big log there. It was going across the road, and we had no way to get around it or anything, and so we built up a rock wall that night, and then we were getting cold, so we built up a fire. Then we stayed, and then we got up at 5 o'clock that night, or that next morning, and none of us really slept. And we got up, and then we...
Can you tell me about how cold it was out there?
Yeah, it was really cold, actually. We didn't have no jackets or nothing, because we didn't plan on staying out there, so we just had t-shirts and stuff on. And then we went to sleep the next morning. We started on the wall, and then we got the wall done. And then we went over that about 2 o'clock yesterday, and then we started going, and we thought that was the easiest part of the hardest part of the trail. We thought it was all easy from there. And then we started going down the trail, and then we encountered more and more logs, and then we just kept going around them. And then we started going down this one hill, and then it was really snowy, and then we decided we couldn't make it no farther. It was too deep of snow. And then so we got out from there, and we started walking up the road, which we thought was going the right way. And then we got out there a ways, and everyone's shoes was getting wet and cold and stuff, and we still had no jackets or nothing. And then we walked quite the ways, and then we walked till tonight about 12 o'clock or so. And we decided we were going to build like a little thing to break the wind. So we gathered up bark and sticks and stuff and made a little thing around an old tree stump, and then we just slept in that. And then this morning we heard some honking and stuff, and then that's when we got rescued.
So how many days did you stay out there?
2 days, or no, 3 days we stayed out there, and then 2 nights.
Really? Including tonight then?
Yeah.
Okay. And how hard was it? Could you tell me about the rock bridge you built over how big the log was?
Yeah, it was about 5 feet tall or so. It was a big round. It took us, I don't know, probably about 5 hours one night, and I don't know, probably another 5 hours the next night to move rocks. We had to keep going down the road, grabbing rocks and bringing them back up the hill, and loading up all these rocks. We had to do that until we could get over the log.
Did you have to dig them out of the snow?
Yeah, we had to dig some of the rocks we dug out of the snow, and then other ones we just found on the side of the road, or we picked them out of the ground and threw them back there and stuff.
And how did you feel when you knew that you'd been found?
Oh, it was great. We just heard like honking, and I seen lights in the background, and I just jumped up and we started screaming and stuff. And then we were real glad we were rescued, because we were real cold and stuff. It was real cold. We all tried to cuddle together under the stump, and it was just way too cold. And the wind was blowing and stuff. So
now where do you want to go?
I'm going to McDonald's, and I'm getting some food because I haven't nothing to eat.
Could you state your name and spell your last name?
My name is Mike Gangwer, Gangwer.
Thank you. That's okay. exactly what you had out here tonight.
Well, first of all, we had a report of a missing person, a 17-year-old boy. He apparently went four-wheel driving with some friends of his. They had started off Thanksgiving. We were supposed to be back by 4 o'clock that afternoon. They didn't show up. The following morning, the victim's mother reported her son as missing. We took an initial missing persons report, and from there we initiated a search and rescue. We involved 3 of our people from the four-wheel drive unit. And we were later contacted by the boy's father, who told us that he had located the truck that the people had taken down on Soda Springs Road, probably about 12 miles from this spot.
Is that an unimproved road?
That's an unimproved road. It's dirt. There's a lot of snow on it. Mixture of snow and mud. Very treacherous road because it's so narrow. There are washouts. So we finally located all 4 subjects. There were 2 men and 2 adult men and 2 young men. We located all 4 subjects about 6 miles between the trailhead of Soda Springs Road and they were in, the 2 adult men were in pretty poor condition. They're being taken to Tahoe Forest Hospital right now for a little bit further medical evaluation. The 2 boys came out of it in pretty good shape.
Could you go over the hypothermia and what were their chances if they had to spend a couple more nights out there?
The 2 men in particular appeared to be very hypothermic. I would say that they had a very small chance of surviving much longer in the conditions that they were in. They just didn't have the proper clothing. They didn't have food or water. They did initially build a fire, but then they walked away from that fire. And after they walked away from that fire, they hiked about 6 miles. They built a shelter out of pieces of bark, but they built it in an area where nobody could see them. And we almost drove past them at one point. And if it hadn't been for them hearing us honking our horns to draw their attention, we probably would have missed them.
One other thing. If you get stuck in a situation like this, you should generally stay with your vehicle, shouldn't you?
You should almost always stay with your vehicle. You have a source of protection from the weather. You have something that people can find. If you take off hiking across country, there's a very good chance that you're going to become lost, a very good chance that we may not be able to find you. So it's always wise under almost every condition to stay with your vehicle.
Can you state your name and spell your last name?
Pardon me?
State your name and spell your last name.
My name is Bob Bumpas, and you spell it B-U-M-P-U-S.
And could you restate that one more time?
Bob Bumpas, B-U-M-P-U-S.
And department and position?
I'm a patrol deputy with Placer County Sheriff's Department and a member of the Search and Rescue.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
So much for the brace.
no signs of the vehicle there, though. Real close to them, actually followed him over to the house, but saw them.
At 2 o'clock this afternoon, we received a call here to this location in regard to a traffic accident. The information was that it was a head-on collision. When the officers marked arrival here on the scene, they were provided information from witnesses, numerous witnesses, that a male suspect driving one of the vehicles had attempted to flee, and in fact did flee the scene on foot. Some very alert witnesses that were here on the scene gave chase, apprehended and detained the suspect until officers arrived, and he has been detained and has been transported to a hospital for treatment for injuries that we assume occurred in this traffic accident here. At the scene we have a female adult who is deceased. Traffic investigators are on the scene and will be investigated into the early evening as to determine what the cause was.
Tell us about the accident. What does it look like actually happened?
Well, all I can tell you at this point is it's obvious head-on collision. It's very premature to determine the speeds of the vehicle and or the primary collision factor at this point. And that's what traffic investigators will be doing.
What kind of charges can this guy face for trying to flee the scene here?
Well, right now we haven't made that determination yet. We have officers that are at the hospital. Traffic investigators will continue to examine the scene here and interview witnesses before a final determination is made as to what charges will be filed.
So can you tell us a little bit more about the I guess, Good Samaritans that you say they chased him down, is that right?
Well, as you can see, this is a very busy street here. There were pedestrians out on both on the walkway and near the apartment complexes here. Some who witnessed the accident, and apparently when the suspect attempted to flee the scene here, the witnesses gave chase and were able to apprehend him and detain him.
Was there any reports of 505 driving or anything by witnesses before the accident?
To my knowledge, no, but I'm sure that we'll look at that as well.
How far away was it when they actually got him?
Very short distance from here, less than a mile, I believe.
It's your understanding that he was actually trying to flee the scene rather than like go call for help or something like that?
My understanding was he was trying to flee the scene.
He was running then?
Correct.
Did he have passengers with him?
That I don't know. To my knowledge, no.
And just one person on board the victim vehicle?
Just the sole occupant, that's correct.
And do you have approximate age or description of her?
No, I do not.
Is it a female?
It's a female adult, that's all I can tell you at this point.
And what about the suspect? A juvenile, adult, male, female?
I don't know. As I said, he will be identified. He had to be transported for injuries that he sustained in the accident. He is yet to be positively identified, and officers at the hospital are attempting to do that now.
Do you know what type of injuries?
No, I don't, but the injuries that he has, I've been told, are not life-threatening. Okay?
Could you state your name and spell your last name for me real quick?
Last name is Campus, C-A-M-P-A-S, Lieutenant, Sacramento Police Department.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Lieutenant. Thank you.
John? No, I didn't see John. Was he there?